What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Post Pro Podcast. It is episode 23, and we got a lot to talk about. But
we really do, yeah.
We do have a lot to talk about because we weren't here last week. Sebastian is back. He's on his phone. The power just went out here. It's going to be a real loose, kind of go with the flow sort of episode. So let's start.
And hopefully my internet stays good.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that as well. So let's.
There was a lot of news too, huh?
Because I don't want to turn into Michael. I don't want to be Michael this podcast.
Yeah, that would not be a good repeat.
Ideal.
Hey,
yeah, okay. Let's definitely continue.
All right, movie news. Let's get going. I have a lot of movie news written down. I'm sure some of you guys have some of the same stuff written down.
I have none written down.
Well, Sebastian, you know what? That just ruined my day. But don't worry, because I have it all right here. First thing, Tom Hardy, rumored to be the next Bond.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
First thing on my list.
No.
I think Tom Hardy would be a good Bond, but Sebastian is very adamant in the opposite direction. Give us your thoughts, Sebastian.
I want Tom Hiddleston as Bond, or I want Idris Elba as Bond, or
Both of those would be good picks.
Or I could see Henry Cavill being a solid Bond because of The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think he's like the least interesting pick between like the four of the people you just mentioned now. Like I still think he'd be good.
I mean, I think he'd be better than Hardy. I can't see Hardy in my eyes as Bond. It's very hard for me to picture
I disagree.
this big husk of a man.
But
like,
I mean,
just being Bond.
He's not always a big husk of a man. I picture his Bond kind of like Eames from Inception or something of the like, you know?
I can't.
No, well.
I just can't.
How tall is Daniel Craig? This is certainly not.
What is their height differential?
Daniel Craig is just perfect.
The perfect
He's 5 feet 10. So
hey, that's me. I could be Bond, guys. Just put on a British accent.
Tom Hardy is 5'9".
Yeah, exactly. So
I agree. I think Idris Elba would have been better, but I think Hardy is probably my second pick.
This is just a rumor. It's just a rumor.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just a rumor. So
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna go through. We'll see.
yeah, well, we'll see how it is.
Because speaking of Henry Cavill today, he just said that he'd love to be Bond, and he basically just posted an open thing saying he's like, "Hey guys, let me be Bond."
Well, I guess we'll see what happens. He did just play Sherlock Holmes in that new
Enola Holmes.
Harry Styles even said something recently. He was like, "Yo, I'd love to try Bond out." I'm like, well, Harry, let's wait till your new movie comes out, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Harry would be kind of interesting.
Did anybody write that down? Because that was like the only thing I was going to mention this week was the Harry Styles movie with.
Did not.
Is
See
it the
that.
movie
did not.
coming out?
Yeah,
It
it's actually like a stacked cast. It's Harry Styles, and I honestly don't remember. I just saw Harry Styles, and I was like, you know what? I've been waiting for him to make a new movie since Dunkirk. So.
Yeah, I saw it too. I don't remember who's in it or what it's called, what it's about.
Me neither. But hey,
I did not write it down.
there you go. Harry Styles, guys. He's going to be in a new movie.
There we go. We do know that. The next thing I wrote down was the WandaVision trailer, which I know we talked about a little bit in the group chat, but it looks interesting. I am
it looks really neat.
To see what the MCU does and how it relates and builds into the MCU.
And speaking of the MCU, Black Widow delayed.
and everything else on Disney.
Yeah, and Eternals and French Dispatch and West Side Story and Wonder Woman
and the Asian Man one.
The Asian what?
What is Shang-Chi, you mean? I don't even know if that was on
what's his name? It's the Taekwondo. What the hell you
Shang-Chi,
got?
Like
yeah,
just said.
Shang-Chi. Yeah.
I
forgot his name. Yeah.
Well, I thought that had already gotten pushed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it got pushed back even more now.
Oh, really? Probably because of Black Widow and Eternals. I guess that would make sense. But have no fear because James Cameron just said Avatar 2 was just wrapped up. And 3 is almost done.
What?
We did it! We did it!
Yeah, so Avatar 2 is 100% complete, and Avatar 3 is right behind
By
it.
the way,
they're going to be so bad.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Bad.
I don't think
I'll believe it when I see it.
Isn't its release date like 2022 or something?
Yeah, because it got pushed back too.
Right.
Yeah,
but I thought that's
I'll believe
because,
it when I
like,
see it.
I mean, yeah, I will too. But like, come on. Yeah, 2020. Like they pushed it back like a couple of months ago, and now they're like supposedly 100% done, and they're just waiting like 2 years. I mean, I'm fine with them waiting 2 years. I just
maybe it'll take them 2 years to finish post. You know, I mean, it'll probably take them at least 6 months to get post production done.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely take like a while. I don't know.
Again, I'll believe it when I see it with my own 2 eyes. It's been over 10 years now since the first one. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then segue. Speaking of sequels, Borat 2 has been officially announced.
Did not see this.
The most ridiculous
What a name.
subtitles.
What a title.
Hold on, let me find it. I know it's.
Did they officially announce it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is imminent, as according to the Guardian's film report. The title is Borat, Gift of Pornographic Monkey to Vice Premier Mikhail Pence in Make Benefit Recently Diminished Nation of Kazakhstan.
It's such a good title.
So fucking good.
It was
I
so bizarre, I couldn't even believe it when the title came out, but then that's the title. So there we go.
I'm fucking excited because it seems like they filmed it over quarantine, so
yeah. I've never actually seen Borat.
It's so good.
Yeah, me neither.
So, I mean, I heard it's one of those movies. It was one of those movies when I was younger. I was like, I'm never going to watch that because I figured I would probably hate it. And I might still hate it, but I feel like I kind of do want to see it now.
I mean, it's good. Yeah, I mean, you just have to accept the fact that it's just all like a giant meme. It's basically a meme movie. I mean, it's funny as shit, and it's pretty awkward at points, but it's hilarious. It's funny. Yeah.
Well, because I'm forgetting his name.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah. He lives his characters, right? I mean,
yeah.
That guy's crazy.
Should have been Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, you think so? Rami Malek did a great job.
Damn, I mean, thinking about looking at him.
No, he wanted to do a rated R portrayal. And they didn't want. Yeah, he had been trying to make a rated R version of Bohemian Rhapsody, and the studio was like, nah.
He wanted real gay sex on screen.
Yeah. Well, no, he wanted that was my biggest problem with Bohemian Rhapsody. It was just they played it really safe in a lot of scenes, but like he wanted like full on like betrayal of Freddie Mercury and like every imperfection of him, and the band was like, no, because that would ruin Freddie's reputation.
Your issue isn't the editing.
I mean, I still just didn't care. I mean, yeah, the editing was really awful, but again, Oscar award winning for editing.
Yeah, nominated for. Wait, did it win for editing?
Yeah.
Yes. Is this the first time you found out?
Whatever, guys. Bohemian Rhapsody, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it really was.
This
is
movie news.
Got nominated.
This is in the now.
It's news to me. I thought it was just nominated.
No.
I'm gonna go
on M. Night Shyamalan revealed his upcoming thriller. Oh.
I said I'll be right back.
He was going
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan new movie is called Old.
I'm excited. It's based on a graphic novel, and it seems interesting. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't tend to.
I'm actually back because I wanted to talk about this. And I heard it in my headphones.
I don't tend to like discuss, like, watch trailers or like kind of learn things about like the details of the plots of movies going in. But I mean, just knowing M. Night Shyamalan is working on something.
Yeah,
it's really exciting for me.
The interesting thing for me was I'm not like the biggest Shyamalan fan because what I've seen from Shyamalan wasn't. I haven't seen like all his classic movies, but I've seen Avatar, the Shyamalan version. So.
Oh yeah.
Forgot.
Honestly, for a second, I just like blanked out. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, for sure. And I wasn't that interested until I heard the premise of the graphic novel this is based on, and it's like a bunch of teens on a beach, and it's like a Kafka-esque approach towards that kind of Lord of the Flies idea, which sounds kind of neat, interesting to me.
Okay. Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about it. I just saw
I mean, it sounds interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because apparently his son or somebody gave him the graphic novel as a gift, and he read it, and he's like, all right, I'm buying the movie rights for this. And he just went and bought the movie rights.
Sounds like a rich person move.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. And then I had a couple other things. Speaking of big name directors, Steven Soderbergh has a new film coming out, and the cast is looking pretty solid.
It's honestly, oh my god, it's so good.
We got David Harbour, Noah Jupe, and Kieran Culkin, Julia Fox, but I was most excited about Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Back. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. Brendan Fraser.
I mean, he's
the last thing
Doom Patrol. I've been watching Doom Patrol, and it's actually pretty great. So, I mean, he's still got it. So.
No, I think, and then it also has Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro.
Don Cheadle and
Benicio del Toro too. Shit.
And John Hamm and Ray Liotta.
John Hamm? Why didn't you mention Ray Liotta? That's
sorry. I don't know. I'm literally looking at it. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ray Liotta in anything in quite a long time.
Did you see Marriage Story?
Yeah, that's right. He was in Marriage Story.
And who could forget B-Movie?
Well, I mean, that's been a while,
like
though.
10 years ago.
But I watch it every month.
Okay.
It's a masterpiece. It's hilarious. Jerry Seinfeld's epic.
The epic movie. So that sounds interesting. It's called No Sudden Move.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of something I had was director Tony Kaye, who directed American History X, is teaming up with, I'm going to butcher his name, Jimon Hunsao.
Oh, yeah.
They're making African History Y. And I just thought the title was weird. So
it's reminiscent of American History X.
No, I know, but so at first you kind of think, is it going to be like a sequel of sorts? But that wouldn't make any sense. So I think it's just going to be similar themes.
Maybe they're going to do it
with different characters.
They're probably going to do it on racial tensions in America, I would assume.
No, I think they're doing it.
They're really doing it about Africa. Like, they're really going to do it about Africa history?
Yeah.
Oh, because I was assuming that that just meant they were going to do it on African American history, like in America.
No, I think it's going to be like an about African story. Yeah, from the quote that he said, "It could not have come at a better time as I explore bringing extraordinary African stories to the world."
What is this about?
The director of American History X is doing a film called African History Y.
We'll see. I mean, that sounds interesting, though.
It was really just a title that kind of jumped out to me because I was like, huh, okay.
It's an interesting title. I don't know if I like it or not. Kind of so about it.
And other than that, that's all I got.
Did we talk about Tom Cruise going to space very soon?
Tom Cruise is going to space.
Didn't we talk about?
I feel like we talked about this all.
We talked about last week.
Well, did you talk about last
the first episode of the podcast?
Well, I know, but he's filming it soon, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, he said that a couple of months ago, though.
He's gearing up to do it, so I don't know how he's going to fit that in with Mission Impossible and him jumping off cliffs. So we will see.
They're going to clone him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just going to clone him.
He's going to pray to Xenu. He's going to pray to Xenu, and he's going to get a clone from Xenu.
All right. Let's move on to what we watched this week.
What did we watch
this week? Yeah, we're gonna go.
Thomas, I can't wait to hear your long list of movies.
Thomas watched so much this week.
I mean, I have a huge list.
I watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High. All right, go next.
Well, come on, tell us.
What you think of it? Yeah,
it's fine. I mean, it's a solid coming of age high school story. I mean, even less so coming of age. The only real. I mean, no, I'm stupid.
Oh yes, yes.
Definitely coming of age. Well, I was thinking about more as just a straight comedy for a little bit because I'm really kind of thinking about comparatively to Dazed and Confused and just.
I mean, yeah, it's
I feel like it's the easiest comparison to make.
It is. It is.
Well, I mean, say anything is probably an easier comparison to make, but you haven't seen that, so.
No, sure. Out of what I've seen, at least, we'll go with that.
Or Clueless, because I mean,
And I definitely didn't love Fast Times. I feel like he didn't really spend enough time with the characters. Kind of left go of plot, just like ideas in the plot too fast. And I feel like just inherently, all the characters are developed just by who they are. You can kind of look at them, and you understand them. It's definitely a good thing to have, but I just don't think. I feel like the movie was way too short.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
I have an opinion.
Yeah, and then I guess this is on Letterboxd. I'll talk about it. I also watched the Fast Times table read. I actually watched the table read first. And the table
wait, it's on Letterboxd?
It is.
Is it on Letterboxd?
Oh, I gotta log in. I gotta log in then.
The table read was better than the actual movie itself. The table read was hilarious.
I don't know if I agree. I can't agree with you there.
I mean, Shia.
I mean, yeah,
such a good
Shia was absolutely incredible, but like they don't need to reboot it. It doesn't need to reboot.
Oh no, we don't need a reboot.
It's not a
Gen Z Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Hell,
all I'm saying is that I preferred the table reads hour to the movie's hour 30.
Yo, that guy's been using TikTok since 2019.
Oh my god. Go next. Get off of Fast Times.
You want to go, Sebastian, or want me to go?
I'll go real quick.
All right.
Yeah, I'll make it somewhat short here. Well, there he goes,
Thomas
because
said,
I was gonna reel him in.
You were going to talk about Fast Times.
No, I wasn't going to talk about Fast Times. I was going to talk about another movie that I watched because of you. I was going to reel you in for it, but I guess I'll wait. So.
No, I'm back. I was just grabbing my phone charger.
Okay. All right, Thomas. We're going to talk about the Scooby-Doo project that you made me watch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was absolutely amazing. It's like one of the best Scooby-Doo things I've seen. Yeah, I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan. I fucking hate the new movie. I talked about a while ago, but that movie sucked. That movie was ass. I thought we
agreed never to bring up Scoob again.
Yeah, well, too bad. I'm talking about Scooby-Doo, so it's getting brought up. This was great. I actually am shocked that this got aired on TV.
Yeah, it's such a funny story.
Yeah,
it's the fact that they can never air it again.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And I'm happy that people ripped it because they definitely never want to – they've ignored it for all these years like it never existed. So it's basically just Blair Witch with Scooby-Doo characters, and it's fun, and it's great. And Scrappy-Doo gets shit on in it, and it's fantastic because he's the worst character ever made. So I'm really glad
ever made.
I would definitely put him up there. He is annoying as fuck. Even in the Scooby-Doo like live action movies, he fucking sucks. I hate Scrappy-Doo. Scrappy-Doo is fucking awful.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this Scooby-Doo project because I think for October I'm gonna do like a horror themed binge of sorts across the month.
Yeah.
So definitely gonna watch.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to sustain
but the best part though,
month,
the best thing about it was there's literally a scene in Scrappy-Doo. He just shows up out of nowhere.
Wait, no spoilers. I want to know what happens. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't spoil it, but it's great when Scrappy-Doo shows up.
That's
so anyway, check it out. It's like 20 minutes. It's pretty great. I watched The Social Network. Again, I think it's great. It's definitely one of Fincher's best, I think. I think Jesse Eisenberg is great. I think Andrew Garfield, I think it might be my favorite performance from him, probably.
It's been like 3 other movies, but yeah.
Well, I mean, he's done a good amount. He's done Silence. He's done Social Network. I mean, yeah, he's done a good bit, but I like his
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I thought he was fine in that too. But yeah, good movie. Mark Zuckerberg's a cuck. Moving on. True Romance. It is a Tarantino script. Hadn't watched it in a while. Very good. It's fine. It's got Christopher Walken. Got some great characters. Has some great setup. Love it.
I always forget that this is a Tarantino script.
Yeah, that's. I was just kind of preparing myself for the fact that after he's done directing, we're probably going to get movies like that because he's just going to write scripts for people. So I was like, let's see what Tarantino did back then and see where he's going to go in the future. And it was interesting. So then I watched The Lost World, and I fucking hate that movie, but it's not bad. It's just I just don't like it. It has the biggest plot hole in the movie, I think. So really don't like it. It makes no sense.
Oh, it's another one. Sorry, so I'm cutting off. I always forget that Tarantino wrote Natural Born Killers.
Also wrote the Rock, which is pretty good.
The Rock is that the one with Nick Cage?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. Absolutely love that movie. It's just a 007 movie with Sean Connery. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I really don't like The Lost World. I think Jeff Goldblum is good in it, but it has a really bad plot hole, and it really bothers me near the end of the movie, and it just makes me cringe.
Is that the one with Alan?
No, that's the third.
No,
That's the third. Okay. I didn't remember the names.
the plot hole, I'll say it really quickly because if you watch the movie, it makes no sense. They put a T-Rex on a boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it crashes into America, right? But there's a shot of fucking severed hands on the boat, but the only dinosaur on the boat is the T-Rex. So how did the hands get cut off and the boat go loose with the only thing on the boat was the T-Rex, but it was in like this down in the boat where it could not have eaten these guys, just hands. So it doesn't make any sense, and apparently there was supposed to be a velociraptor scene, but that also doesn't make any sense because you never see them ever. So, okay, sure, whatever. Really bad there. So anyway, moving on. I watched Twilight. Don't ask. Just don't ask. I'm going through a Twilight marathon. Don't ask. Okay. It's fine. I read the book in middle school, and it's fine. I have nothing really much to say about it. The first one is fine. I watched Color Out of Space, which was the new. It's not really new, but it's the Nick Cage flick. The new Nick Cage flick, which is a. I just really don't know what to say about it. It is a Lovecraft
adaptation.
Yeah,
and
I saw it in theaters last year or earlier this year. I don't remember.
Yeah, because I was gonna go to that, and then I was like, nah. So I watched it on Shudder because it's on Shudder now, and it was fine. I thought it was definitely the best adaptation I've seen of that story because I've seen a couple of them, and all of them were okay. But this one, I just like the use of color and the color palette, and Nick Cage being a fucking maniac, and
he honestly wasn't like.
Well, yeah, he was very toned down, but you know, I just like seeing Nick Cage. So
sure, yeah,
Nick Cage being Nick Cage, and I was like, fine, and it was fun. It was nothing great. It wasn't amazing. It was fine. It was okay. I watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and it was great. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It's been a really, really long time since I had watched it, and I really didn't remember it. So I was like, I had heard that they made a Netflix show with a doctor from it, and I was like, why the fuck did they do that? So I was like, let me watch the movie real quick, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's fucking Jack Nicholson's best performance. You got Christopher Lloyd being a fucking absolute nutcase like he is, and he's great. And then I forget the actor's name, but the character that plays the chief. No, the chief. Chief. He's the Native American. He's like Jack Nicholson's character's best friend in the movie. He's really great in the movie.
I was actually really interested in the show. I watched this trailer for the show and I thought it was really neat. I haven't seen it.
It's like really bad. So.
But
have you?
I've heard it's really bad too. The trailer, it looks cool, but like if you watch the movie, it has no horror elements in it. So I'm like, what the fuck is like? Okay, whatever.
The guy who directed the show directed American History Horror Story.
American History Horror Story.
American Horror Story. I was thinking American History X.
It's okay. We know what you meant.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny because I was like, American History Horror Story. That
American History Horror Story.
Combo right there. I mean, American History kind of is a horror movie if you think about it. Moving on, I watched for Batman Day, which was the 19th, I think. I watched the original Batman from Tim Burton, and I loved it. It was great. There's nothing really much to say about it. I think it's a great movie. I think it's I just think Burton killed it. I think his style works just so well with comic Batman, and I put it in my Letterboxd review because I do think this is still true to this day. I understand why Hollywood wants to make Batman this badass character, right? Make him this action hero like kind of Nolan did, and It seems like Reeves is going for a different. Yeah, it seems like Reeves is going for a different approach to it, which I'm very excited about. But I feel like, it seems like Hollywood's kind of forgotten about Batman's comic roots, and I was saying, I think Reeves is definitely going for a different direction, and he's going for the detective style, which is technically what Batman kind of used to be. But Batman was just weird back in the day, and Burton kind of captures how good like that kind of flavor of Batman that really well, in my opinion, because it just seems like most directors have forgotten about that. And I personally enjoy that Batman a little bit more than beat 'em up Batman. Like, it's cool. I like seeing Batman be this dark, brooding force, but I also like seeing him be this fucking, weird weirdo in a bat costume fighting these weird people and costumes as well. And I enjoy that. And I like Tim Burton's take on it. And I think Jack Nicholson, it's pretty underrated at this point, his Joker, because of Heath and Joaquin. But his Joker is pretty great as well. And he's definitely the most comic accurate Joker in terms of screen time. And I just think it's overlooked with Heath now. And,
well, you say like wacky comic Batman, but comics in general have become incredibly dark.
No, I know, but I'm talking about I know, but I'm
you
talking
mean like old school.
Yeah, old school Batman.
Yeah,
it's literally old school adaptation of Batman on the screen, and it's great. Like, Batman still is really weird, like, in terms of comics right now. Like, it's not really like Hollywood's version of Batman right now. Like, there's just really weird shit happening all the time. Like, there was a turf war between Joker and Riddler not that long ago, and it was really wacky, and Kite Man was involved, and shit like that. And then there's like Nolan's Batman, and now we're getting Reeves, and I just think it's interesting to look back at how Batman used to be. Because, I mean, even Batman Forever era and all that was weird as shit. So nipple Batman. Anyway, enough of Batman. I watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High after watching the table read. I was like, well, this is a better time than ever to revisit it, and I think it's great. I understand why Thomas doesn't like it, but I don't think it's a masterpiece. I think it's like a 4. It's like an 80 for me, but I think it's good. I really do think the acting's good. I love Spicoli. I think Sean Penn is fantastic as Spicoli. It's really kind of monumental in his career, and just seeing him on screen as this stoner character.
Yeah, I'd agree, but I wish that it was a Spicoli movie then, and not multiple character coming of age story.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I still like the multiple character angle that they went for. I think it's fine. I just enjoy the Spicoli parts, the best. I think everybody does, but it's still, I like what the movie is doing. But the Spicoli parts are great, and I think my favorite scene in the movie, it always has been, is when Mr. Hand shows up at fucking Spicoli's house and lectures him for like 5 hours on all of the work that all the time he wasted in his class. And I'm like, why aren't teachers like that anymore? I'm like, I'd love to just get by school that way.
Man, best scene in that movie has to be the ending. So funny.
It's funny, but I just love Mr. Hand going to Spicoli's house, and he has naked girls on his wall, and as Mr. Hand's leaving, he looks at it, and he's just like, nice. Anyway, watch The Shawshank Redemption. I don't know, this is probably my 10th time watching it. I've always considered it one of my favorite movies, but I never put it up there for some reason. I don't know why, because every time I watch it, I always just go, this is just a masterpiece. It really is. It's just, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if any of you have seen it. I'm assuming at least somebody else in here has seen The Shawshank Redemption.
I'm assuming it's everyone but me.
I've only seen clips. I've never seen the full movie.
Well, that's the pick this week. I'm just kidding. But it's just... I can't even really think of the right words to say about it. It's just kind of a movie that means a lot to me, and I think it's definitely one of Stephen King's best stories in general, and then one of the best book to movie adaptations ever, because it's almost exactly the book, and they don't put anything really new in the movie. It's the short story that Stephen King wrote, and everyone in it is just phenomenal. it's a great movie, and I really hope you guys watch it one day, because I cry like every time I watch that movie. The movie is it really is beautiful. That's all I'll say about it. I think it's great. Moving on, me and Collin, we saw Akira, and
I'm seeing it this Wednesday, by the way. I meant to say that, but I was working. Yeah.
Yeah. So got Blade Runner behind me. It's just it was okay. I thought about it a while after me and Collin saw it, and it's a weird movie.
You know, it's Kanye's favorite movie.
I didn't know it was Kanye's.
Yeah, I can see it.
His top two are Akira and There Will Be Blood.
That's interesting.
Kanye's got taste, and he also loves Blade Runner apparently. So
yeah, I got Blade Runner on repeat.
Yeah, I got Blade Runner on repeat. Denis Villeneuve. That was the funniest tweet he's done in a long time, because he's been on his crazy mental tirades, and then I just checked Twitter and I got Blade Runner on repeat.
Yeah, I got Blade Runner on repeat.
On his like IMAX 8K screen in Atlanta.
Oh, bro, that screen is insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's been making music videos and shit there, and he's just been watching them on the screen. But anyway, enough Kanye.
Well, actually, I was gonna one more thing, because the music video for Stronger is based on Akira.
I did know that too.
Yeah.
Kanye loves anime and animation. But anyway, Akira. I can definitely see why people think it's the greatest anime ever made. I also can see why Kanye loves it. I can see why anybody loves it, but I'm just not into anime, and I never really have been. My favorite anime I've ever watched is Berserk, and I like this, I think, a little bit more than I probably would have, is because of the blood. And I mean, that's really weird to say, but like there were some times in the movie I just was like, holy shit, I didn't expect that. There's this part where these people get fucking lasered. Like they just start like open firing on a crowd of like civilians and just laser them to death. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Spoilers, see?
Well, I mean, it's not really a spoiler.
In 2 days.
I know, but you'll never know at what point that's going to happen in the movie.
Yeah, sure.
I guarantee you that. So I was just like, what the fuck? And there's just crazy blood and shit in the movie. I was like, what the hell is this movie? And me and Collin both kind of agreed on this. The first half of the movie was pretty interesting. I was like, it's a lot of world building. I'm like, this is interesting. This is very Blade Runner. This is very dystopian future. I'm liking this so far. I'm like, this isn't bad. And then the second half comes around. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on right now? Well, like, it lost me in the second half, and it just turned into fucking like Naruto or some shit. Like, it lost me. And last things I'll say about it, I think the score was great. It definitely, again, reminded me of Blade Runner. It had the Blade Runner vibes. I think everything else was great. I thought the voice acting was fine. I thought the animation was wonderful. It was amazing. And that's really all I can say about it. I don't really know much about anime, so I can't dissect what the fuck happened in the movie, because I don't get anime, and I haven't read the manga, so I couldn't tell you anything about it. I couldn't tell you a single thing about what I watched. I just saw some pretty colors, some gore and action, and some people riding bikes, and that's really all I can say about it.
The big thing about Akira, though, in specific, is that it was like, because that movie came out in
87, right, Collin?
It was the thing that kind of 88. Damn,
88.
Wow. I was close, but it really was kind of the first thing to like lead into phase 2 of animation, right? It's a huge step up.
Yeah. No, yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
It was
integral
to animated lighting, especially.
Yeah.
It was like the first animated feature to take place mostly at nighttime, which is really hard to animate. And then lots of how they were able to achieve like the neon light visuals and stuff was groundbreaking. And it kind of just
again.
And I think it's also responsible for introducing Western audiences to anime as well. It's one of those films. Yeah.
Again, I thought the actual quality of everything was wonderful. And I remember Collin, like during the movie, he was like, imagine how long it took them to animate this. Yeah. And it was kind of mind-blowing to really think about that while watching it, because it's like almost 3 hours. It's like 2:30, I think it was around there.
No, it was like it was 2:06.
Oh, it was close. Whatever.
It's just because we were in there so long because, okay,
Yeah.
funny story.
Yeah.
Tenet at first, like, because it was in the IMAX theater, and they started playing Tenet. And so right as I saw the Warner Brothers logo, I was like, this is Tenet. So I went out and said, hey, you got the wrong movie. And so then they changed it, but they couldn't fast forward through the trailers. So we had to watch all 20 minutes of trailers again.
What?
So we were in there for like 3 hours.
We were in there for almost 3 hours, yeah.
Oh my God.
But the movie's only like a little over 2 hours.
Yeah, but yeah. So Akira, I liked it. I think it's good. But definitely not like one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. But I understand why people, love it and are inspired by it. But I think Blade Runner for me is a more monumental movie for me personally, and that's the best comparison I can make to it because it does feel like a Blade Runner animated movie. It felt like it could take place in the same universe, in my opinion. Like it just felt like, especially the first half, I was like, this is totally like, if they were to just be like, oh yeah, Akira was in Blade, like is in the same universe as Blade Runner, I'd believe it. It definitely had the same vibe and everything going on.
And
I was like,
we looked it up afterwards, and it was kind of interesting to note that the manga was first written in 1982 when Blade Runner was released. So I don't know how far apart they were in release, but it was just kind of interesting to.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about how it's like two cyber like punk movies kind of came out at the same time and same era, and they're both. At least Blade Runner was overlooked more than Akira, but it's interesting to think about. So
Blade Runner was overlooked more than Akira?
Yeah, people hated Blade Runner when it came out. If you look back on it, like critics hated Blade Runner. They're like, God, this movie's so fucking boring and slow, and it underperformed in the box office and became a cult classic. And then they made 2049, and same thing happened to 2049. Oh, this movie's so boring and so slow. Like, yeah.
Now I feel like audiences and critics were a lot more warmer to the sequel.
Oh yeah, but
people
you get what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. I saw reviews over like, God, like if you go to like any reviewer, there's always that one comment. This movie was so fucking boring, man.
I mean, sure.
That's for anything.
That's for anything. Yeah. Also, Blade Runner's budget was $28 million. Unless this box office is counting like anniversaries and this stuff, its box office was $260. That's an almost 1,000% increase.
Yeah, but it was still critically underrated, is what I was trying to say.
Sure.
Well, one last thing for you, Sebastian. Since you weren't here for the last episode, just give us your brief thoughts on The Devil All the Time.
Oh, I actually did mention The Devil All the Time. That's right. I actually glossed over it. I loved it, honestly. Real quick, I won't take too long here. I thought Pattinson was great. I thought Holland was great. I really loved the tone of the movie. I didn't really get to see what Thomas had to say, but it looked like me and him probably thought about the same on it. Yeah. But I just liked how brutal it was, and
I have something to say about that all the time.
Yeah, it just felt very. I know it was fictionist, but it just felt very real to me. It felt very like brooding and just unforgiving, and I really liked that because I haven't seen a movie that just because it kind of reeled me in. It was kind of slow. It was kind of a slow burn, and then when I got to the middle part, I was like, okay, this shit's starting to get good. And then I got invested, and I was like, and then I got to the ending, I was like, well, fuck, that was great. And I think that's Netflix's best movie by far that they've made and they produced. I thought it was fucking awesome. Yeah, I think that was Netflix's best movie by far. Wow. I thought it was great. I rate it lower than Marriage Story, but I think I'd rather watch Devil All the Time than watch Marriage Story again. But but I really did. I thought it was great, and I think it's definitely a step in the right direction for Netflix in terms of filmmaking, because I was kind of blown away, honestly, not gonna lie. I was like, shit, Netflix, you really, like, that felt like a Hollywood movie to me. So congrats on Netflix on that, because I thought it was great. So that's it.
Because obviously, I just want to mention this. Double Time, obviously based off the book, but you guys probably didn't know that the guy who actually did a narration for Double All the Time was actually the author.
The book.
I did actually know that. I did not bring that up last time.
I didn't know that, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, again, I thought it was good. So moving on.
All right, so I will go. What I watched, what Collin watched. That's me. I started off the week with a film school pick called HUD. It's a revisionist Western with Paul Newman. and it was okay. It was just really slow and kind of long, and not a lot happened. Well, I like Blade Runner better, but I don't know. I just couldn't get invested in the story. It was mainly just I didn't really care for what was happening. There wasn't a lot of development. I mean, there were a couple arcs by the end of the movie, but nothing that was fulfilling. But cinematography was nice, performances were nice, and Sebastian's gone.
Oh
wow, he totally cut out. Yeah,
he's completely gone. Yeah. Oh well. Rip. Of course, he had to leave right when I was about to bring up the DC animated film of the week. Batman: Assault on Arkham. One of the better ones of this DC marathon. I will be going on forever. Oh, there he is. He's back. Sebastian. I
was here. I had to. I heard you.
Oh, you heard me. Okay, great. Well, great.
Yeah.
Batman: Assault on Arkham. It's a fun movie. It got the Suicide Squad right. Good voicing, good voice cast.
Good one.
Fun
It's
acting.
a good one.
There were a lot of like conveniences and stupid stuff that happened that kind of annoyed me throughout, but definitely one of the better ones.
Have you seen the Suicide Squad one yet?
Not yet. No, that comes later. I think that's
that one.
16.
Which Suicide Squad one do you have?
Hell to Pay.
I think that's the one I saw. There's one that's really good with the Suicide Squad, and it's like fucking like really bloody, and it has to do with Flashpoint. So I was just gonna say you should watch that one.
I think that's Hell to Pay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is Hell to Pay.
That is, yeah. That comes later. So I don't know when it will be.
Well,
but
you're gonna like that one. I think you're gonna like that one.
Okay, I'll be looking forward to it. So after that, I watched an Amazon original called Blow the Man Down, which was a sort of Fargo-esque crime mystery that takes place in Maine. And man, it had so much potential because it started out so great. Like it was really stylistic, and it had that tone that balanced the like quirkiness and like really weird darkness of crime. And then it just didn't really go anywhere in like a way that really hit me, you know. It was there, like all the stuff was there, but the movie was just way too short in general because there was so much set up, and then it's just kind of figured out, kind of thrown together in like the last 10 minutes, and it just felt really rushed in that regard. And also the tone, as like cool as it was at points, it just never went all the way, and I think it needed to be have a lot more humor and go a lot darker for it to really work. But it definitely wasn't bad. I'd recommend checking it out just because I think this was a feature debut by the filmmakers. And they got a unique style for sure. So it was kind of a cool movie. And there's some really weird, like... Actually, I don't want to say it in case you guys watch it, but they're like the beginning and end...
Oh, I did actually want to watch it.
Okay, yeah. Beginning and ending have some interesting, creative, stylistic choices that I was just kind of like, huh, that's weird, but it kind of works. So, yeah. Then after that, I decided to take a trip down memory lane and watch Jimmy Neutron.
Yes, sir.
And man, what a blast. I mean, I hadn't seen this movie in years.
What a blast.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, what a brain blast that was. Jimmy Neutron was probably one of my favorite cartoons growing up as a kid, and I had forgotten how much I remember from this movie, you know? Like, I was watching the movie, and then I could just start quoting it as it was going. I was like, wow, man, yeah. I watched this movie a lot as a kid, and I forgot how much I had watched it. It's like, it's not good, you know? Like, there are definitely some major issues with it, but the characters are just so iconic and nostalgic for me. That is a lot of fun, and there were actually some pretty good jokes as well.
I loved your review because it's so true. Like Jimmy doesn't even fucking matter. It's all about Sheen and Carl. Dude.
It's all about Sheen and Carl, honestly. Yeah, they're so good. They're so good.
I love the voice actor who actually plays Carl Weezer. Super off topic.
He's
Rob
so
Paulson.
great.
No, dude. Honestly, Carl is probably my favorite character.
Yeah, Carl is the best.
Well, no, Rob Paulson's a legend, man. He was the original Donatello, I'm pretty sure. If you ever watched Pinky and the Brain, he was Pinky.
Yeah.
I love Rob Paulson.
But speaking of Rob Paulson, I'm fucking excited for Animaniacs, dude.
Yeah, and new Animaniacs.
Yeah, I'm so fucking excited.
Yeah. Oh my god, that guy's so cool.
But yeah, anyway, continue.
Yeah, I mean, it was also kind of interesting to find out, because I never knew this until now, that Patrick Stewart and Martin Short are the two like alien leaders in this movie, and I never knew that, and that just kind of
I didn't know that either.
I also found out that the movie was made before the TV series, which makes sense, because this movie came out when I was 3, and I definitely wouldn't remember watching Jimmy Neutron when I was 3. So I remember the TV show, but it was made as a movie, and they were going to make a sequel, but then they decided to just make a TV show. Yeah. I found that kind of interesting. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, but I mean,
usually it's the opposite way.
I just wish Jimmy Neutron lived longer than it did.
I don't know. Maybe as thinking back when we were kids, but of course I haven't seen the show in forever. But
no, I fucking love the show. The Sheen Brain episode is my favorite.
that is a good one. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. It's my favorite one.
Do you remember the Tarantino episode where they were with the film director and it was
it was fucking Tarantino. Yeah.
It was such like Tarantino. Yeah, that was great. The movie brought me so many memories of certain episodes, Sodium Chloride and
Jimmy Timmy Power Hour.
Oh yeah, that was good too.
So this is off topic, awesome. But did you guys hear about the time where they're at Tarantino was at a film festival and got invited by a filmmaker in specific to sit in a screening, but the screening of the movie was literally about basically how Tarantino's a shitty director. It was about how it was about a director kind of being abusive to a female actor.
I heard about that. Didn't he get up and leave?
Yeah, he got up and left mid-movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I mean, I would have, if I was him, I would have got up and left too. I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we won't talk about that, but I mean, to be fair, he was at the fault there.
But anyway, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. It's a fun movie, lots of nostalgia, lots of good jokes, and the animation has not aged gracefully. I will say that.
No, it looks like
not
shit.
Not as bad as Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked is.
Hey, don't talk shit.
No, hey, I love Hoodwinked, but the animation, man. If they had a bit more money, that movie could have been great.
Masterpiece.
And so after that, I watched the Assassination of Jesse James, which we'll get to in a little bit. And then, as Sebastian mentioned, watched Akira. It was the only reason I was going to see it was because it was a 4K restoration on IMAX. So I was like, I know it's one of the best reviewed animes, so might as well see it in IMAX. And it looked great, sounded great. Soundtrack was good, acting was good. It is a weird movie. I thought I knew where it was going. Like Sebastian said, that second half kind of threw me. I still liked it, but it was good. It's definitely a film I want to watch again. So, Thomas, I can come if you want me to go.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I know you don't like me that way. And then in film school this week, we watched The Manchurian Candidate, the original, and I thought it was kind of bad. Hot take of the week, but I didn't like it. It was just really well shot. Cinematography was great. Composition was really good. Obviously a competently made movie, just ridiculously boring. And the plot is way too convoluted. Too many things that don't make sense. The finale is just kind of thrown together. And yeah, not much to say on that one. But that's all I watched.
Take it away, Noah.
Take it away, Noah. All 50,000 of your movies.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, Mr. 14 movie average.
Oh my God. Okay, Jesus. Well, look, that's enough. The week after my birthday, we watched 5 movies, so that's saying something.
We do gotta give them credit there.
Don't worry. The week of the 21st or 28th, I only watched 1.
Yeah, good job. Okay, so started with Radiohead in Rainbows from the Basement, the Radiohead concert movie of. Well, I mean, it's not really a concert movie. It's them performing in a basement, I guess.
Was that for Rainbows?
In Rainbows, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, which is, I mean, yeah, guess what? Radiohead is the band that I enjoy listening to, so I enjoyed watching that movie. I mean, it's not really, it's literally just like them performing.
Yeah, it's just a vibe. It's just a vibe session, pretty much.
Yeah, like really. Then I watched Tom Hanks' directorial debut at That Thing You Do, which is honestly pretty good. I definitely enjoyed it. I guess about as much as I was expecting to, because I'd heard that it was pretty good. But, not really disappointing or anything. Watched Badlands, Malik's film, which I was surprised by how much I liked, given how much I am lukewarm. Like, I don't really dislike Tree of Life, but, yeah, lukewarm is probably a better way to describe that. Anyway, liked Badlands quite a lot. Watched Once Upon a Time in the West, which is a flat-out masterpiece. I mean, it's just, like, so good. Like, just everything about it is, like, truly perfect. And it's just, like, from... Like, it's... I forget how long it is. I think it's, like, 2.5 hours or something like that. Yeah,
Masterpiece week.
Yeah. But... And this is my first time seeing it. But, like, just... Like, the opening shot is... I mean, like, less the opening shot and more the opening sequence is, like, very, very good. Especially for, like, the entire film in general has very little dialogue, but, like, the opening sequence, which is, like, maybe 15 minutes long or something, has, like, almost no dialogue whatsoever. And, like, it's scored by Ennio Morricone. It's honestly, like, quite possibly, like, the best score I've ever heard. There are, like, certain moments where, like, I almost cried, like, just because of the score. And, like, I don't think I would have, like, if the score wasn't there.
It's a really good score.
It's just so good. Like, oh my god. Watched Class Action Park, the, Action Park documentary.
Shit, how was it?
I mean, it's fine. If you, like, really, it's... So I think it's, like, what, an hour and a half? It's pretty short, honestly. It's, like, weird, because the thing that I didn't realize going into it was that, like, they mainly interviewed Chris Gethard as, like, a person who attended the park, but, like, was not involved in its construction, and most of the other people that they interviewed were, like, actual people, like, involved in the park, or, like, people who had, like, serious connections to the park. And, like, Chris Gethard was just, like, somebody who kind of went to it as a kid and is kind of famous now. And there was, like, one other person who they interviewed like that. But, like, I don't know. There's just, like, a lot of focus on Chris Gethard. And I found that kind of weird. Like, not in a bad way. It just, I don't know, kind of detracts from, like, the actual story about the park.
It's a weird story, dude.
It definitely is, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a documentary I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And I guess if you don't know anything about Action Park, you might like it more than I did. But I just feel like if you hear enough about Action Park, you're like, yeah, I mean, I get the vibe. And it's not really like an overly enlightening documentary.
What was the Johnny Knoxville movie that was basically about Action Park? Wasn't it just called Action Park?
Action Point.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, that movie is so laughably bad. Action Point sucks.
I heard it did.
Oh my god, it was so funny because it was so bad. Alright, don't mind me, I'm fixing my microphone.
Yeah, I can see that. Watched An American Pickle, which I honestly, like, really liked. Like, it's not a great movie or anything, and it definitely helps that my expectations were, like, pretty low going in, that, like, most people had just been like, yeah, it's bad, don't bother with it. And it also helps that it's, like, literally, like, 85 minutes or something. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah, I thought the first half was good.
Yeah, I guess I basically agree with that. Although I didn't, like, ever get bored or really fall off with it.
No.
I don't know. I feel like it is a very, maybe trite, cliche, like, I don't really know. Like, you just kind of hear the idea and you're like, yeah, I've seen that movie before. And you definitely have. But I feel like this is, like, one of the better, like, ways to actually pull off that movie, if that makes sense. Like, it's just slightly above average for, like, a concept that is average, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I definitely felt the same way about it.
Then watched Get Smart, which I didn't really like, but is honestly
criminally underrated. Get Smart is a comedy classic. I love that movie.
I mean, if you say so. I don't know. I didn't really mind it. I was just like, there was nothing in it that, like, made me go like, wow. And so
yeah, this is your first time seeing it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, I watched it dozens of times as a kid, so I have some sort of attachment there.
Yeah. Watched Michael, the Nora Ephron movie, which was just on HBO Max. So it's just like, whatever, I'm gonna watch this before my free trial ends. And like, so I don't know if any of you like looked at the description after I reviewed this, but it's about like an angel he's an angel, but he's not a saint, and like he smokes.
Oh my god, I want to watch it after reading about it.
Yeah.
Looks so bad.
That's honestly what I was expecting. And I don't know if I just like went in with like really, really low expectations, but like honestly, it's kind of charming. And like I think it's mostly like John Travolta is not like disastrously bad in it, if that makes sense. Like he's obviously
he's not the fanatic.
No, yeah, he's like a miscast, like a fundamental miscast, but like he never does anything with it. That it's like, what are you doing, John Travolta, in the way that he, I don't know, often does.
You know what I just noticed? Looking at the poster, I looked at it when I saw that you logged it before. I just noticed the dog in the bottom left corner. So I was like, what the heck?
I mean, look at that. I didn't notice that.
Like, it looks horribly photoshopped on and just kind of throwing on.
Well, it's like weird because the dog is like a central point of the movie in a way that feels kind of forced.
Yeah, I just now noticed that.
Okay, no, it's very bizarre that the dog is just like in the small corner. Anyway, I don't know. But
Nora Ephron's career is so weird.
It really is, yeah. Especially because it was like 17 years long or something. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Not really a lot to say about that one. Watched the John Cassavetes movie Opening Night, which I honestly really liked. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I had some thoughts about that, but I forget. Honestly, it's pretty good. Whatever. Night on Earth, the Jim Jarmusch movie, my first Jim Jarmusch movie. It is also pretty good. Whatever. I don't really want to talk about that a lot. I liked it a lot. I just not a lot to say. Chicago, the I think Rob Marshall movie based on like Bob Fosse's musical or whatever, was a little underwhelmed by it, I guess, but I don't necessarily like love the music of Chicago, so I guess maybe that's why. Yeah. I don't know. And also I found it to be like weirdly dark, but that's not necessarily the problem. The problem is like that it is dark and the music is also dark, kind of in contrast with all that jazz, which is like a very dark movie, but the music is very like bright and poppy and fast and everything, and that contrast works really well for me.
I'm actually watching that later this semester from my film class.
Chicago?
So stay tuned.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about it then.
Yeah.
Watched The Seventh Seal for the first time.
Good movie.
Yeah, I mean, good as everyone says it is. I don't know.
Yeah, really, really good movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Awkwardly enough, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to kind of make a pseudo comparison to Devil All the Time and Seventh Seal in terms of its themes and like heavily playing with, if you look too hard into religion in itself will let you down kind of idea,
Yeah. No, I mean, I know. I don't know. There's a lot of, you should watch First Reformed, Thomas.
I agree. I really need to watch First Reformed. I need to watch a lot more from Schneider, right? Around there.
Paul Schrader.
Schrader. Why did I say Schrader?
I don't know. I was like, that's not right.
Isaac Schrader?
Maybe. Yeah.
Rob,
but I don't know. Thematically, I think Seventh Seal and Devil All the Time share a lot of.
You could also make the comparison to Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
I mean, sort of.
Playing games. All I know is it's
honestly, I think my one, like, I mean, obviously there are a lot of takeaways I had from that movie, but like the kind of thing that was the most surprising to me was like, I guess just like watching The Seventh Seal for the first time, it was like, wow, like William Sadler in Bogus Journey is just like really just like doing an impression of this movie, like it's just like directly. And like I knew it was like sort of, but it's crazy. Anyway,
please.
Then I watched Albert Brooks's feature debut, Real Life, which is really good. It's really misanthropic and like still funny, which is a tension that normally doesn't work for me. Like normally if things are just too dark or oppressive or misanthropic, and they're also trying to be funny, it just like, I don't know, it just fails. But it doesn't in this, so call me surprised, I guess. Okay, I'll skip that one. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Fucking love that.
Yeah, I don't know what Thomas's problem with it was.
I just don't like westerns.
I guess, yeah. Which I mean, I guess I kind of thought
And
that.
like definitely the big thing about Butch Cassidy too is that it's like it's a deconstruction of the western genre.
Yeah.
However, I think even if it's a deconstruction of the genre, it still uses the same ideas that places. Because it's a deconstruction in the sense where your main character can't shoot and your other main character can't swim, right? Great scene.
I mean, yeah.
That scene's legendary. But it's not really a deconstruction in the sense where it's still two cowboys riding around fighting the law, which is not my favorite thing in film.
Yeah, it's definitely not mine either. But I don't know. Like, I thought it to be well-paced, well-acted, well-scored. It was just fun, honestly.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. Watched Peter Bogdanovich's The Last Picture Show. I forget if it won Best Picture or was just nominated. Either way, I definitely liked it. It is, again, like a very, like, depressing, like, just everybody in this movie is, like, doomed movie, which is really weird, especially considering that, like, half of the characters are teenagers. It's, I don't know, it's just, like, unlike any movie I've ever seen, is maybe, like, a bit of a stretch, but especially for something that was made in 1971, it feels, like, surprisingly modern, or at least like having modern sensibilities. Like, it is very obviously made in 1971 in a lot of ways, but it deals with like sexual frustration and just like how being from a small town is like, or can be like a bad
themes.
thing. Yeah, or not even timeless things, just like themes that you wouldn't necessarily expect from like a 70s movie or at least from like a 60s movie, which is I guess what this is closer to, where things were all like, bright and happy and whatever. Moving on, watched Carrie for the first time. Honestly, I cannot remember why I wanted to watch this, but like I liked it a lot. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good, honestly.
I loved Carrie.
Yeah.
I don't.
Which one did you watch though?
There was.
Yeah, like you mean directors or theatrical?
No,
I just watched
theatrical.
He watched the original Brian De Palma.
Okay, good,
yeah,
good. Not the one with whatever faces.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes, that one was bad.
I think I like saw that was on Netflix, and I was like, I have never even heard of this, which is
it's really bad. Don't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it wasn't. Yeah. Anyway, not going to. Then I just decided what the hell and watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail for the first time.
And of course, Thomas leaves, and Thomas leaves for this. Yes.
I'm going to tell him right now.
So we're going to dignify that response by not discussing it at all. Then I watched Bacurau, the new Brazilian. I mean, I guess it's just like a new movie. I actually do not want to say anything about this, but I think Sebastian especially, you would like it. And I think, Collin, you have a chance of liking it, but I think it's really just best to like, well, I don't know, honestly.
What is it? What is it?
Do not look anything up about it.
Yeah, I heard you going blind.
No. What's it called? What's it called?
Bacurau. It's a Bacurau. It is.
Is it? It's a new movie.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I think
what do you watch it on?
Earlier this year. I just rented it. I don't think it's actually on anything.
Well, I'm gonna rent it and I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's like a turn, maybe like an hour in, and that's where like I really think you'll start appreciating it.
That's what I heard. That it takes like, whoa, what the heck?
But I don't think it's uninteresting. I mean, especially for me, it kind of like combines two things, each of which I sort of like, but none of which I sort of love. Like one beforehand and one afterhand. And like both of them were very intriguing to me. And I think, Collin, you might honestly like the first half more than the second half. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I mean, I like highly recommend it, not just you guys, but to everyone. Like, I think it's at least interesting, even if not, like, I certainly didn't, like, it's not, my favorite movie of this year or anything, but it's pretty good. And yeah, I mean, I like, it's really like one of the few movies where I can say like I've just never seen anything like it. It's great.
That's cool.
Rewatched Back to the Future, which is it's crazy how like well it works just in every regard. It's bonkers.
It is. It's. I mean, it's great. It's a monumental film.
Yeah. Just
that Collin has not watched.
You know, the funny thing is, I know like everything that happens, and because I've seen, like I've mentioned before, I've seen clips from every movie. I just never have seen the entirety.
Have to watch the whole movie.
It's on Netflix.
I know.
Like, it's entirely plausible you won't like it. I just don't think it's like boring at all. I don't know.
It's great.
Watched The Great Muppet Caper for the first time, which is good. I mean, I talked about the Muppet movie a while ago, pretty much like the same thing. I mean, it's a slightly different movie, obviously. In that it's not like so much of an origin story for the Muppets. It's like just an actual Muppet movie. But, you know, I like them both about the same. So
it's all about the Muppet Christmas story.
Yeah.
No, it's all about Kermit Swamp Ears, dude. Come on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Watched Pineapple Express.
Oh God.
Which is not good. Like,
no, it's really not good.
I mean, honestly, like, I just watched it because I was like, whatever, I'm in the mood for like something bad and something comedic, and it wasn't even. Really,
it's not.
I mean,
even
like, it's
both.
bad, obviously, but yeah, it's not. It's mostly just like long and boring.
Yeah,
it's not really,
and
like.
Why is it so heavily regarded though? Like people fucking love that movie, and I watched it. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll watch it under the influence," and it still wasn't funny to me. And I was like, "Okay, this movie sucks."
Yeah. No, I never. I mean, I definitely did get bored with it just because it's so long and boring. But I was never like, "What? Like this is like really bad." I was more just like, "This is like really boring. It's just not good in any way." You know, it's not like catastrophic.
And I was like, "What is Bill Hader doing here?"
Yeah, well, I mean, that kind of makes sense just because he's like friends with all of them.
Yeah. But he's always making cameos and stuff with them.
I mean, whatever. Anyway, Ocean's 8. Yeah.
Just the way you said it. Ocean's 8.
Like, again, I was just,
I don't even think you need to say anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not. That was enough.
It's not awful. It's just like, again, pretty uninteresting in like almost every regard.
Great review.
Yeah, The Straight Story, which is good. I mean, it's a very sentimental movie, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of running out of steam.
Yeah, Lynch's most experimental film, he called it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like, yeah. Like, if you think about it that way. No, it makes sense. But, you know, a pretty traditional movie in a lot of ways. But, like, even for a traditional movie, it is very experimental in that there's just, like, no plot whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just a nice movie, you know?
No, exactly.
Lynch.
Yeah.
Lynch. And then I watched Drew Barrymore's only directorial credit, Whip It, which honestly was a little underwhelming. It just feels kind of cliched in a lot of ways, and you can definitely tell that it's like someone's first time directing, even though it's not really.
I didn't even know she had a directorial credit.
Yeah, I think like going into it, I was like, oh wait, she directed this? I don't know. Like that might have been why it was like on my watch list in the first place, but I don't really remember. But yeah, I mean, like it's fine, but you just, I don't know. Like I watched it and I just kind of like wanted something like a little bit more interesting, but you know, never really got to it, and that's fine. And then finally watched The Assassination of Jesse James, which now that Thomas is gone, hey, look, it's another 2-on-1 thing.
I mean, I wouldn't even really say it's a 2-on-1.
But it's always like, it's very rarely like a Vox Lux situation where it's like some people hate it and some people like it. It's more often like
well,
the person who picked it likes it a lot. Like,
yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Thing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it, nor did I love it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, which is, I mean, kind of the way that a lot of these things tend to go, like I was saying. But yeah, I mean, I definitely liked it a lot more than you two.
Yeah.
And I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely one of those things where, like, it helps to go in with as little information as possible, and that certainly worked for me. And so I think if I rewatched it, maybe my score would go down, like, a little bit, or at least, like, I would get less out of it. Like, especially the last 30 minutes. which I think both of you probably agree with, really very surprising in a lot of ways, both like narratively and I guess like thematically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, there isn't really, like, I guess pacing I could criticize, but other than that, there isn't really anything I could criticize about this movie. Like, I think, Deakins is like really great in it, and so's Pitt, so is like the entire supporting cast. Like Renner surprisingly is actually like pretty good instead of just like, a normal guy. Trying to remember who else. Rob Schneider. I mean, I said Brad Pitt, obviously.
Let's say Rob Schneider.
Rockwell. Isn't that it, or is it someone else? It is
Paul Schneider.
Paul Schneider, yes. Okay,
yeah.
Right.
Paul Schrader, Rob Schneider,
yes, exactly.
Paul Schneider. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, that's why Thomas said Paul Schneider earlier.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then Zooey Deschanel I actually really liked too. In like the last literally 10 minutes of the
She was just like, not even, but yeah, she was good. I would agree. I think the performances were honestly the best part of the movie for me. I thought Brad Pitt was great, and I really liked Casey Affleck as well.
Yeah.
They were definitely like what held the film together for me. And I think the most interesting thing about the narrative was how it frames the characters from beginning to end.
Yes.
Because when you first meet Casey Affleck's character, you don't like him, and you see Brad Pitt's character and you really like him. And then as the film progresses, it shifts, and you kind of feel bad for Casey Affleck, and you start to kind of resent Brad Pitt, and then it gets so I liked how that went. Honestly, didn't really care as much, obviously, for like the rest of the supporting cast. I think that was just my main issue. It was too long, and sometimes it spent a little too long with the other various things going on. Although they were integral to like the plot as a whole, I felt like it did just kind of take away from what I was more invested in,
Which, makes sense. And I certainly think it helped.
Yeah.
I mean, I even mentioned in my, this week, like I watched Bush Cassidy and I watched Once Upon in the West for the first time. I was kind of like gearing up towards like another Western. Is Sebastian completely frozen?
No, I think he's moving a bit. Sorry, your image quality is just really bad right now.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I mean, I can't do anything about it.
No, yeah, you're good. It's just funny.
But yeah, it is. No. So anyway, I was just kind of saying, I think it definitely helps that I acclimatized myself to slower Westerns in general. And
it was kind of
I guess funny. I do agree that this is a little bit too long, but I mean, I think that works with the themes of memory and regret. And,
sure. Yeah. I think it's funny too that I started off the week with a Western with the one I watched in film school. I was like, oh, cool. But yeah, honestly, I don't really have much to say about it.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about it. I like the performances. It's obviously a really well-crafted, well-made movie. It's just pacing-wise and length-wise that became a bit much for me to where I was not engaging with the film a lot. Not a lot of the time, but in certain stretches of time that really kind of just bogged it down for me. And then this is kind of a minor thing, but as good as the movie looks, obviously the cinematography and setting, lighting and all, especially that train sequence, that looks amazing. Yeah. The use, I don't even know what to call it, but Deakins would use these blurred shots. Yeah, that they were kind of like vignette-esque, but they were blurred on the sides and stuff. And I thought at first he was using that to show a passage or a difference in time, but then it really wasn't. And I don't know, I just didn't think it worked for me aesthetically or narratively, and it kind of made it. I just didn't like it. It was just a creative choice I didn't really care for.
I think it, and I mean, this is just a personal thing. I think it really helps reinforce the theme of memory and how it's you always see things differently in hindsight, a little fuzzier around the edges, and you always remember what's more important, central in the film.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Interesting. This is one of the few things that I did actually read about because it's on the Wikipedia page. some scenes in the film have a blurred effect around the borders of the frame. These were achieved by taking old wide-angle lenses and mounting them on the front of several cameras. Which is
that's cool.
A weird way to do that.
Yeah. I was
I
wondering
haven't,
how they achieved that, or like what they were using to do that, and I didn't bother reading the Wikipedia for that, but yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really said much because I don't really have much to say about it. I think the movie was fine, but I already knew the story of Jesse James because I studied him in school. So I kind of went in and I'm like, well, I mean, I already know this story. So, well, shit. So I watched it and I was like, yeah, I thought performances were fine. Brad Pitt was definitely my favorite part of the movie. He was absolutely, he was great. It was just fun watching him. And he said in an interview this was his favorite movie that he's been in, shockingly enough. So there's that. And Casey Affleck I thought was fine. I thought everything was fine about it. I thought Deakins, honestly, I know Collin was just saying this, I wasn't blown away by anything in this movie, especially Deakins. Deakins really didn't he really didn't do anything in this movie that I was like, wow, that's Roger Deakins right there. Like there was
What is your favorite color?
Okay, thanks, Thomas, for completely throwing us off the rails.
We're in the midst of the movie discussion, Thomas.
How is this a color?
I don't get what's going on, so I'm just going to ignore it.
How do you not get it? No, okay. I just feel bad for missing this because...
It was because of...
Collin texted me that you were talked about Monty Python, the Holy Grail. And it's like...
he didn't really... He didn't talk about it, though. He didn't talk about it.
I refused to talk about it because you weren't here, and I was like, whatever. I mean,
that was the joke.
Can we talk about it now?
No.
Wait for minutes to wrap this up. Come on.
Bye, guys.
Okay, well, there you go. A random occurrence in the post-podcast lore.
Good job.
Anyway. Deakins, to me, Deakins has a very noticeable style of cinematography. Like, again, Blade Runner behind me. Like, every modern Deakins movie I've seen, I can definitely, say, yeah, that's a Deakins, cinematography. Like, Blade Runner, it's pretty evident his style. 1917 has a really great style, but this movie didn't really have that style for me. And I'm not gonna bash Deakins. I thought the movie was shot fine, but I couldn't. If you didn't tell me who the cinematography was, I would have never guessed it was Deakins. There was nothing that really stood out to me as amazing. But this movie for me is just one of those movies that's a one-time watch. I don't really ever have the desire to watch it ever again. I know the story. I got pretty much everything I wanted out of the movie, and I don't really have a reason to go back to watch the movie. Maybe the only thing I would do is my favorite scene, I told Collin this, my favorite scene in the movie was the scene where they're sitting by the fire, and Jesse James grabs Bob with the knife, and then they all start laughing. I thought that scene was really tense and actually really good. And
it was kind of scary. It was unsettling.
Yeah, that was my favorite scene in the whole movie. If anything, that would be the scene I would go back to maybe on YouTube to watch because I thought it was a really great paced scene. But nothing really wowed me from the movie. I thought it was good by all means. I thought everything was really good. I am not saying I'm disappointed in Deakins here. I just didn't really see anything that wowed me from him because I remember I was watching his filmography and all the stuff he's done, and this movie was in it, and the only thing they showed from it was the train sequence, which, if anything, that was probably the best shot thing in the whole movie. And
that was I think, my favorite sequence because it was really tense. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was really good, but yeah, I thought it was good, and I don't regret not watching it, but
nope.
I mean, okay, well, I guess he said all that he wanted to say, just about. But unfortunately, he was...
He's back.
Yeah, you went out for 10 seconds.
Someone called me.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that about wraps it up, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I had left to say was... it was going off of what Sebastian said. Like, even though I knew the basics of the story, I still found the central story interesting, and I especially liked how it wrapped up in the finale.
Yeah, totally.
It was. I wasn't really expecting it to shine the light on the acting career they tried to make out of it. You know?
Yeah, me neither. That was definitely the most like.
Yeah, that was cool.
Part for me.
I think it went on a bit too long, and I think just in general the movie was a bit too long for me. But yeah, it was just an insight I hadn't previously known, and the scene leading up to his death as well, I thought was really tense.
I think that was honestly my favorite scene.
Yeah,
just, like,
and
the
I like
thing.
Yeah.
From the newspaper until like he actually gets, spoiler alert, shot in the head.
Yeah. And the use of narration during that was, I thought, really well. Well, the use of narration throughout, I thought, was utilized really well. It definitely had really good sequences of tension, and it's just overall I wasn't engaged with it as consistently.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, out of 10, I would give it a solid 5.
I'll be nice. I'll give it like a 6.
Sure, and I'd give it a 9 because I really liked it.
Yeah. And so what is that? Like about a
6.7.
6.7, yeah. All right, so Sebastian, that means it is your pick for this week. What's it gonna be?
I had added this Will Ferrell movie to my watch list that I had never heard of, and I checked into it, and none of the boys here have watched it. So we're all going in here blind because I have no idea this movie could be a masterpiece for all I know. It could be the best movie I've ever seen. So we're going to watch Stranger Than Fiction starring Will Ferrell, and all I know about it is that Will Ferrell's character is being narrated throughout the whole movie, and it's apparently kind of Lynch inspired, apparently. I think I saw a review or something like that. So we're going to watch that, and we're going to see how that goes. And I think that should be pretty interesting because none of us have watched it. So we can't bash anybody for like picking it, because I am just picking it for the sole reason that none of us fucking know what we're walking into. So,
I mean, with Night Moves, it was a pretty positive, I think, reaction for all of us. That was one none of us had seen. So hopefully Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't hate it.
Yeah. Watch us all hate it, and we just have like
the shortest podcast ever. We're just like, this
It
sucks.
does seem plausible that all of us would hate it, but it does not seem that like.
I'm sure somebody here is gonna love it. It has like an average review of 4 stars. So.
Really? On Letterboxd?
Yeah. It was like 3 or 4. It was around.
I thought it was like a 3.6 or something.
It's a 3.5, yeah. But no, that's pretty good.
Okay, yeah. Still, that's solid.
That for Letterboxd, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That
is one that's it's been on my watch list. I don't know for how long, but all right. So I think that's going to wrap up episode 23 of the Post Pro podcast. We watched the assassination of Jesse James this week, and next week we'll be talking about and reviewing Stranger Than Fiction. So stay tuned for that. And we'll have a full cast. It's going to be a full cast next week where we all watch the movie, and hopefully.
No, hopefully.
All right. So I guess that's it. Signing off.